To introduce the idea of sentence diagramming, let's start at a more basic level and look at parts of a sentence before we build up to complete sentences. Each of these short videos will focus on one type of phrase. This first video will be nouns and noun phrases. So let's look at a few different noun phrases with different components. Again, the first thing you want to do when you're looking at a phrase or even a whole sentence is to look at each individual word and identify the word class or part of speech. Stop this video and do that now. All right, let's see what we got. The is an article. If you label this determiner, that's also correct. Articles are determiners. Ancient, adjective, ruins, that's a noun. In the next phrase, the number 3, that's a number. Again, numbers are determiners, so if you label that determiner, that's fine. Very is a qualifier. Quiet, adjective. Children, noun. Very quiet children. Not my children, but maybe somebody out there is lucky and has 3 very quiet children. His favorite hot dog place. His is a possessive pronoun. We're not going to label his as just a pronoun because it's not a noun. All right, it's a special type of pronoun. I don't even like to call it a pronoun because it is not a noun. So if you see his, my, your, our, those are possessives, right? They denote possession. Favorite is an adjective. Hot here is not an adjective, right? We cannot separate the hot from the dog. We're not talking about a dog that is hot. We're talking about a hot dog. So hot dog is a noun, right? We're going to treat those 2 words as one chunk. And then place is a noun. Right? Now see if, right, we can group any of these words together before we create our noun phrases. Pause the video here and see what you got. I see adjectives, so we should have adjective phrases. Okay, and so we see in the first example, ancient is an adjective all by itself, making an adjective phrase with a single word. In the second example, though, we have that qualifier. So very quiet comes together and they group into an adjective phrase. And in the last one, again, we only have one adjective. There's no qualifier. There's no other adjective there. It's just favorite all by his lonesome. Okay. Now, what else can we do? I think we have hot dog place. There's 2 nouns there, so we might be able to do something with that. Let's group these into noun phrases now. Stop the video, draw it out, and then see if it matches what I do here. Okay, so we can see that we have the article, adjective phrase, and noun all coming together. 3 components comprising that first noun phrase. In the second example, it's really the same exact thing. We have a number with the number in the article, the 3, those are both determiners, right? So again, we have 3 components, a determiner, an adjective phrase, and a noun. In the last one, we needed to combine hot dog place, right? Those 2 nouns are combining to make a noun phrase in and of itself. And then we have one more step for that last noun phrase. And here's what that looks like. His, possessive, favorite is your adjective phrase, and we had a noun phrase. And so we have a noun phrase inside a noun phrase, which is perfectly fine. Okay? So I hope that's what that looks like. Now let's try a couple of more that look a little different. Okay, so here are our next 2 examples. Again, I see nouns, determiners, adjectives. Go ahead, pause the video, and mark the part of speech of each word here. Okay, so here's one possible labeling. Marks, you've got a proper noun. Now it's got the apostrophe S. So if you label this as a possessive noun, that's perfectly fine. Yes, it is a possessive noun. You would lose, I mean, it's not the man's, right? Red and black book. So we would almost have to label this as a possessive proper noun. Okay, now we're getting a little more detailed than we need to be. But if you do label this as a possessive noun, you need to make sure that you differentiate in your labeling between possessive noun and the possessive pronoun. Marks is not the same as the pronoun his. So be careful with your labeling, that you're choosing labels. If you have to write it out completely with no abbreviation so that you are clear, that's fine. Red, black are both adjectives, and is a conjunction, not a subordinate conjunction. It's a coordinate conjunction. If you label it as a coordinate conjunction, great, but that's more detail than we need. Book, of course, is a noun. Casino is a noun. New, I hope no one put as an adjective. New can be an adjective, but in this case, that capitalized in, right, really is a clue in that this is not an adjective. It's part and parcel of New Orleans as one name, proper noun. And then A is an article, which you can label as an article. Articles are types of determiners, so you can label it as determiner as well. If the instructions on your homework assignment or on your test say to label articles as articles, then you would only receive partial credit. If the instructions do not specify, then I will accept a label of either article or determiner, because both are technically correct. Now, I see adjectives, so you know right away, I'm going to need an adjective clause, right? Let's pause the video and see if we can put this together. Okay, so then we can see right now that all of those components all go together into one adjective phrase. If I said adjective clause earlier, I apologize. I might misspeak because I teach adjective clauses a lot, and that's totally different than an adjective phrase. But here we have an adjective phrase, okay? And now the next step is just putting everything together. And there you have it. There's our two noun phrases. Next video, verb phrases. See you there.